So the next topic is about the endocrine system. So the endocrine system is instrumental in regulating our mood, tissue function, metabolism, and growth and development, as well as sexual function and reproductive processes. Okay, so for its function, it is in charge of body processes that happen slowly, such as cell growth. Uh, Also, it functions for the release of hormones through glands. Kapag yung glands ay with ducts, tinatawag natin itong exocrine. Pero kapag ductless or without ducts, so it is endocrine. So lahat ng madidiscuss dito, without ducts or ductless. So lahat ng glands without ducts. So it controls all the metabolic activities inside our body. The nervous system and the endocrine system works together. So the nervous system controls the endocrine system, uh, whether it should release hormones or whether it will hold the hormones. Okay, so what are hormones? So hormones are endogenous substance. When we say endogenous, it is produced within the body. Kapag naman exogenous, so napoproduce siya outside the body. And then it is bound by specific receptors on their target cells. So each hormones have specific functions, so they bind with their receptors to the target cells. So may kanya-kanyang patutunguhan yung bawat hormone. And there are uh, actually not 3 types, ayan, 4 types, ayan, mali yung ano ko. 4 types of hormones according to its composition. Number 1 are lipid hormones. So, lipid hormones are derived from fatty acids. So, ano ba yung mga lipid hormones? They are the steroids such as estrogen, progesterone, testosterone, aldosterone, and cortisol, which are synthesized from cholesterol. So, yun yung lipid hormones. While the peptide hormones, they are short chains of amino acids. So, galing naman sila sa amino acids. Peptide hormones include antidiuretic hormone or the ADH, then the thyrotropin releasing hormone or TRH, and oxytocin. Next is glycoprotein hormones. In glycoprotein hormones, they are complex proteins bearing carbohydrate side chains. Ayan, so may kasamang carbohydrates. So, protein and carbohydrates yung glycoprotein hormones. So, this include follicle stimulating hormone or the FSH, luteinizing hormone, LH, and the thyroid stimulating hormone, TSH. And the last one are amine or amine. Ayan, so amino din siya. Amine or amine hormones. So these are derivatives of amino acids. Just like dun sa peptide, kaya lang sa peptide, short chains lang siya. Sa amino acids, dito sa amine hormones, ayan, longer chains naman dito. Such as the tyrosine and tryptophan. And other examples are thyroxine, epinephrine, and norepinephrine. So later you will know, I will give you a table kung saan nandun yung function ng bawat binanggit kong hormone. So those are the 4 types of hormone based from composition. Okay, next is what are the major endocrine glands? So we have the hypothalamus, pituitary gland, thyroid, parathyroids, adrenals, pancreas, and gonads. So first, dun muna sa pituitary. Okay, so dun sa pituitary gland, it is located at the base of the brain, so beneath the hypothalamus. So, uh, actually connected yung hypothalamus dito sa ating pituitary. So, magkasama na siya as the main glands. So, it is a pea-sized gland. So, maliit lang siya. And, maliit siya, but it is called as the master gland. It is considered the most important gland in the endocrine system. So, why? Because it makes the hormones that control several other endocrine glands affecting growth and reproduction. So, meron dalawang parts yung ating pituitary gland. So, kung makikita nyo dito, ayan, so natatakpan yata ng camera ko. Ayan. So, dito meron tayong anterior pituitary gland, and then the posterior pituitary gland. So, anong meron dun sa anterior lobe na yun at posterior lobe ng pituitary gland? So, in the anterior lobe, it regulates the activity of the thyroid, adrenal, and reproductive glands. While the posterior lobe regulates the function of the kidneys and the uterus. That's why, kabilang siya sa growth natin. So, dito yun, growth, and dito naman in terms of reproduction. It also secretes the endorphins. Those are chemicals that act on the nervous system to reduce our sensitivity in pain. So, kaya may nakatapat dyan na pain because the endorphins are used to control the pain and to reduce the pain. So, that is the pituitary gland. Next is the thyroid gland. Ayan, so dito naman sa thyroid gland, it controls the rate at which cells burn body fuels from food to produce energy. Okay, so nagpo-produce siya ng hormones na nagko-control ng ng rate kung saan nagpo-produce din tayo ng energy through the food that we eat. Ayan. So, next, it also secretes hormones for bone growth and development of the brain and the nervous system in children. So, yan naman yung thyroid gland. The next one, so, saan matatagpuan pala yung thyroid gland? So, ayan. So, in our throat, so near the larynx. Next, parathyroids. Okay, next. So, we have the parathyroids. The parathyroids are 4 tiny glands. So, ito siya. So, sa posterior view siya ng thyroid gland natin, back view. Ayan. So, kapag binaliktad natin yung thyroid gland, so we can see there the 4 tiny glands, which are known as the parathyroid glands. So, the parathyroid glands secrete parathyroid hormone, ito, and calcitonin. So, which these hormones regulate the level of calcium in our blood. So, yun yung parathyroid gland. Next is the adrenals. Okay, so the adrenals are located at the top of the kidneys. So, ito yung ating kidney. And then, we have here the adrenal glands. So, the body has 2 triangular adrenal glands. So, para siyang triangular shape. And then, meron tayong dalawang region ng adrenal glands. The adrenal cortex and the adrenal medulla. So, the adrenal cortex, ito siya, yung surrounding ng adrenal gland. While the adrenal medulla, yung nasa gitna. This one. Okay. So, may kanya-kanyang sinisikret na hormone, si adrenal cortex at si adrenal medulla. So, si adrenal cortex, sinisikret niya yung corticosteroids. So, these corticosteroids regulate the salt and water balance in our body. and the body's response to stress, metabolism, immune system, and sexual function. So, yun yung ginagawa ng corticosteroids. The next, which is the inner part, sa adrenal medulla, it secretes the hormones epinephrine, norepinephrine, and the aldosterone. Ano naman yung ginagawa nito? So, those hormones are involved in the fight or flight. Those are flight hormones. It also for adrenaline rush. Ayan. So, yun yung tinatawag na adrenaline rush. So, nagsisecrete yung body natin, yung adrenal medulla ng epinephrine and norepinephrine kapag tayo ay nabibigla, kailangan natin ng agarang response doon sa isang certain stimulus. So, that's why it's known as a flight hormone or fight hormone. So, yan yung adrenaline rush. Next, yung aldosterone naman, it also helps in maintaining the body's salt and potassium balance. So, yun yung adrenal gland. Next is the pancreas. So, the pancreas is located at the back of the stomach, below the liver. Ayan, so makikita nyo dito. So, bago yung ating small intestine. So, duodenum natin. So, nandun siya. So, the pancreas has both exocrine and endocrine. Ayan, so, exocrine kasi merong ducts. Dun sa ducts na yun, lumalabas yung digestive enzymes in order to digest food. While for the endocrine, and so yung pancreas, connected din siya sa stomach. So, kapag kailangan na nating digest or matunaw ng stomach, nagsisecrete si pancreas ng digestive enzyme. Next naman, endocrine siya. So, it's considered as endocrine because it has cells known as the alpha and the beta cells. The alpha and beta cells are hormone-producing cells, which produces the insulin and glucagon. So, these hormones work together to maintain a steady level of glucose in our blood. Ayan. So, insulin and glucagon. Next, and last sa glands, we have the gonads. Okay, so the gonads are the reproductive glands. So, for the male and the female. For the male, so we have here the testes or the testes. So, it is the most important, tawag dito, gland nila sa males because it secretes androgens. And those androgens are also known as testosterone. Okay, so testosterone regulates body changes associated with sexual development. So those include the enlargement of the penis, growth spurt during puberty, deepening of the voice, and other male secondary sex characteristics. Ayan, so that also supports the production of sperm cells of the Next, for the female reproductive system, we have there our ovaries, and it is located in the pelvis. Okay, so they produce egg cells and secrete female hormones such as this one, as estrogen and progesterone. So, it controls the development, the physical sexual features of females such as breast growth, accumulation of body fat around the hips and the thighs, and growth spurt also during puberty. And also these hormones are also involved in pregnancy and the regulation of menstruation. So those are the glands for the endocrine system.